Imagine walking into a packed movie theater, finding a seat in the dark, and listening to your own voice soar through high-definition speakers. Imagine watching thousands of people wipe tears from their eyes, completely captivated by a performance you poured your entire soul into. Now imagine that absolutely no one in that room knows who you are. They aren't looking at you, they are staring at a famous Hollywood actress on a massive screen, convinced she is the one singing every impossible high note. That wasn't a hypothetical nightmare, that was the surreal reality for Loren. Her song Never Enough didn't just become a hit, it became a global culture-shifting titan. Multi-platinum certifications, billions of online streams, and cover attempts from virtually every aspiring singer on the planet. Yet when the credits rolled, Loren was practically invisible. She became the biggest phantom in the modern music industry, a multi-platinum megastar whose face nobody could recognize in a crowd. So how does someone go from hiding in the studio shadows to reclaiming their voice on global television? What really happened when the red carpets cleared, and where is Loren right now? The path she took after the movies wrapped isn't just surprising, it exposes the dark, transactional machine operating behind the music business. To understand how Loren got erased from her own break, you have to go back to the production of The Greatest Showman. The studio was crafting a massive musical centerpiece for the character of Jenny, the legendary Swedish opera singer known as the Swedish Nightingale. The script demanded a performance so magnificent, so otherworldly that the audience inside the film, and inside the theater, would instantly understand why she was considered the best singer on earth. Actress was tapped for the role, and while she is an incredibly talented performer, the vocal demands of Never Enough required an absurdly rare 4-octave power belt. Instead of recasting the role with a Broadway veteran, the producers quietly decided on an alternative strategy: hire a ghost singer. Enter Loren. When Loren stepped into the tracking booth, she thought she was just recording a demo, a reference track for the production team to use while filming. But when she hit those explosive climactic notes, the sound engineers and directors were completely stunned. Her execution was flawless. They didn't need a demo anymore, they had the final master. Loren signed off on the usage of her tracks, effectively handing over her vocal performance to be pasted onto someone else's screen presence. When the film released, lip-synced every single frame with incredible dramatic skill, but the raw sound driving audiences wild belonged entirely to Loren. The movie went on to smash box office expectations, the soundtrack dominated the charts for months, and almost everyone assumed was a hidden vocal prodigy. But behind that curtain, the real singer was standing completely alone. Why did Loren accept being a hidden singer in the first place? To answer that, we have to look back at the brutal lesson she learned years before The Greatest Showman. Back in 2012, Loren was just another aspiring artist trying to make it out of Pittsburgh. She landed a spot on Season 3 of The Voice, joining Adam's team. She possessed incredible vocal control even back then, but the reality television machine is unforgiving. After a couple of intense rounds, she was from the live playoffs. For a young singer, getting knocked out on national television isn't just a bump in the road, it's a massive hit to your confidence. The experience left her exhausted and deeply skeptical of the spotlight. The public pressure, the constant scrutiny, and the fear of failure pushed her away from wanting to be a front-and-center pop star. She retreated into the background, choosing the quiet life of a session vocalist. In that world, you get paid to lay down background harmonies for major records, record movie demos, and sing on commercials. It was safe, it paid the bills, and best of all, nobody judged her image or questioned her personality. She had purposefully retreated into the shadows to protect herself from the cutthroat nature of the music industry. So when the opportunity to sing for The Greatest Showman came along, it felt like the ultimate session gig. She could deliver a world-class performance without having to deal with the terrifying realities of fame. She got exactly what she bargained for, until the song became a historic monster. It's one thing to sing on a commercial and remain anonymous. It's an entirely different battle when your voice is blaring out of every radio station, taxi, and mall speaker on Earth. By 2018, Never Enough had crossed into pop culture royalty. It was being covered on talent shows globally, racking up hundreds of millions of plays and earning spot after spot on global top charts. Yet Loren was watching all of this unfold from her apartment, completely detached from the success. While the world was praising the movie's cast, Loren was dealing with a severe identity crisis. Insiders close to her noted that the psychological disconnect was intense. You have created a piece of art that touches tens of millions of people, but you can't even claim it at a dinner party without sounding like a liar. The industry had built a massive wall around the movie's illusion. Marketing campaigns leaned heavily into the main cast, and for a long time, Loren's name was just a fine print footnote on a streaming metadata page. Beyond the mental toll, there was the financial reality. As a session singer who initially signed on to record a track, she missed out on the massive publicity, lucrative touring deals, and brand sponsorships that normally follow a multi-platinum breakout hit. She had provided the soul of the film's biggest moment, but she was trapped in a golden cage of her own making, too afraid of fame to step out but deeply pained by her complete erasure. She realized that staying in the shadows wasn't protecting her anymore, it was eating away at her. By 2022, Loren decided she had suffered in silence long enough. She was ready to claim the identity she had earned. But how do you tell the entire world that the phantom voice they've been listening to for years actually belongs to you? She took a massive, high-stakes gamble. She entered season 15 of Britain's Got Talent. When she walked out onto the stage in front of Untold, she looked like any other nervous. But when the judges asked about her background, she dropped the bomb. She was the original studio vocalist behind Never Enough. The crowd gasped, the judges were stunned, and when she launched into the chorus live, she proved that her vocals weren't studio tricks or auto-tune magic. Holden smashed the golden buzzer, sending her straight to the semifinals. On paper, it was the ultimate cinematic comeback story. Then the internet exploded. Overnight, angry comments and tabloid accusations began flooding social media. Viewers accused the show producers of rigging the competition, claiming it was unfair to pit an established, multi-platinum recording artist against everyday amateur acts. Accusations surfaced across major outlets questioning whether she was an industry plant brought in to boost ratings. The very spotlight she had spent a decade avoiding came back with a vengeance, threatening to completely tarnish her reputation. But this time, Loren refused to run away. Instead of letting the internet storm destroy her moment, Loren used the sudden wave of attention as leverage. She pushed all the way through to the Britain's Got Talent Grand Final, reminding millions of viewers every week that she wasn't an industry plant, she was a ghost worker who had been her moment in the sun for half a decade. Once the show wrapped, she executed a brilliant career pivot. Taking a playbook strategy from major artists like Taylor Swift, Loren started focusing heavily on owning her work. She began releasing her own independent master recordings, dropping tracks like Never Enough, Loren's version, to ensure that her streams and royalties were going straight into her own pocket. She caught the attention of music industry royalty. Legendary producer David Foster, the man behind powerhouse vocals for Whitney Houston, and took Loren under his wing, bringing her on international arena tour as his featured vocalist. She recorded duets with Michael and performed globally alongside tenor giant. Then came a major unexpected move into the gaming industry. Square handpicked Loren to perform No Promises to Keep, the main theme song for the massive blockbuster video game Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The performance earned critical acclaim across the gaming world, introducing her powerful voice to an entirely new global. She was no longer just the ghost behind a movie soundtrack, she was becoming a force in her own right. So where's Loren today? She has effectively dismantled every single barrier that used to keep her in the background. She is releasing independent EPs like The Showman Sessions and Clown, reimagining the high-octane tracks that built her reputation, but doing it entirely on her own terms. She's no longer waiting for a movie studio or a record label executive to give her permission to step into the light. She spends her time headlining arena dates, performing at high-profile international tributes, and preparing for massive headlining tour. On a personal level, her life has found a balance that once felt impossible. She quietly tied the knot with her longtime partner, settling into a life where she can enjoy personal privacy while still commanding stages in front of tens of thousands of people. Loren's story is a stark reminder of how easy it is for the entertainment industry to use an artist's gift while leaving their name out of the history books. But real, undeniable talent has a way of cutting through the politics. Loren started out as a hidden studio vocalist hiding behind a screen, but today when she sings those iconic notes, there is no confusion left. Everyone knows exactly who she is. The next time you hear that incredible belt in Never Enough, remember that behind the Hollywood glitz and glamour was a woman who had to fight her way out of the shadows just to claim her own name. Loren proved that being written out of your own story is only temporary if you have the courage to take back the microphone. What do you think about the way ghost singers are treated in Hollywood? Drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of the music industry.